an Rialtas an Tara Dara O'Brien.
On Corla, and delivering on housing, Blascown Corla is a defining challenge of this government. After over a decade of undersupply, our country is catching up, but too many of our people are still left behind. We need to do more and do it quicker, and we will. I know how hard things are for people, but we are making progress. In 2023, more homes will be built and more homes will be bought than in a generation. We will break through our Housing for All targets and ramp up our ambition for next year. Under this government, we have the highest home completions since 2008, the highest home commencements on record, the highest planning permissions since 2008, over 400 first-time buyers every single week, over 20,000 more workers in the construction sector, the first ever vacancy grants, the first ever cost rental homes, the first affordable homes in over a decade, building more new social homes than we've done in 50 years. Ireland is back building, and under this budget, we will build even more with the highest ever capital investment of over €5 billion. In addition to this, we're also using the long-term proceeds of our economic prosperity to capitalise the LDA further up to €6 billion and to expand the Housing Finance Agency by a further €2 billion. Never before in our history have we committed so much resources to housing. Housing for All, our multi-annual plan to 2030, is a clear framework to underpin a new era of home building. The budget moves forward a number of key provisions. For first-time buyers, we're extending the Help to Buy scheme, which has helped over 40,000 people buy their own home. We're continuing to fund the First Home scheme, that in just over a year has over 2,600 families and households able to buy their new home through that scheme. Financing 6,400 affordable homes, the largest ever in our history, through our local authorities and Land Development Agency. For renters and landlords, we're increasing the rent tax credit by 50% to €750. Introducing income tax relief to retain landlords in the system, worth between €600 and €1,000 per annum over the next 4 years. And we'll be expanding and continue to expand cost rental to record levels. For social housing and homelessness, we're funding 9,300 direct build social homes, increasing homeless funding to €242 million, an increase of €27 million. A €35 million Housing First acquisition fund, increasing the single-stage approval process from 6 to 8 million. Continuation of the successful tenant in situ scheme into 2024, where we will exceed our target in 2023. And we have a fully funded multi-annual plan that gives certainty and allows long-term investment which is needed to meet our people's housing need. In contrast to the detailed plan, the opposition has committed just 2.5 pages in a 52-page budget document to housing. If that is what they say is priority, I would hate to see what they regard as a normal issue. Over the 3 years into this government, and the Sinn Féin Alternative Housing Plan can be described as the Loch Ness Monster of politics, often talked about but never actually seen. We don't know what they are for, but we are clear that they are against home ownership. Sinn Féin would scrap the Help to Buy scheme that's helped over 40,000 families. It would scrap the First Home scheme. And even more inexplicably, it would scrap the €70,000 vacant property grant that 4,500 households have applied for already. It's hard to find home ownership support that Sinn Féin would not scrap. Even their own scant budget numbers show the scale of their attack on home ownership. They're scrapping €260 million of support and only putting forward 74 million extra into affordable homes. But the attacks on home ownership go even further and extend to parents passing the family home on to their children. Sinn Féin proposes to increase the inheritance tax rate to 36%, a €59 million hit on a child inheriting a family home. This means a child in Dublin inheriting an average valued house would pay €36,900 in tax. The Sinn Féin budget also imposes a €400 charge on small landlords, as well as a raft of new restrictions on property. This is despite the fact that last year Sinn Féin called for crisis intervention and a plan to slow down the the disorderly exit of private landlords exiting the rental market, and Deputy O'Brien will know this, and I quote, he said that all options must be on the table for consideration, including tax reform in the private rental sector. Now, however, they're imposing a €400 additional tax that would affect 1 in 3 homes in the country. Their strange solution to the rental crisis is to drive out landlords with no plan to replace them. All the while, there's a glaring €200 million hole in the rent tax credit. It's loaves and fishes economics, where Sinn Féin say they would give more money to renters, but with a smaller budget. This is all we know of the Sinn Féin housing plan. Scrap, tax and hope. They would scrap home ownership supports, tax existing homes, hope that their changing targets without an actual plan to build and drive out landlords will somehow work out. Housing for All, in contrast, is a fully funded long-term plan that is getting Ireland building again. The opposition has sound bites, it has dodgy numbers, it has black holes and an aversion to home ownership across 2.5 pages of scant detail at Last Count Corla. The budget funds a radical, realistic, fully funded policy underpinned by record state investment, which puts home ownership back at the heart of Irish life while helping those who need it through the delivery of social homes. These are the best values and our finest traditions. Our plan embodies them, and this budget will help deliver it.